Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today I am joined by the founder and CEO of Pink Callers, Michelle Myers. How are you today, Michelle?
Hey there. I'm good, thanks, Stephen. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for joining me. And really interested just to jump straight into your story, really, in terms of, I guess the best way to start is just having a little briefing of what Pink Callers is.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for having me. I am super grateful to be here. Part of our origin story is my very first employee was actually British. So I
Whoop whoop,
actually
representing.
hired, I know exactly. I hired a woman named Julia back in 2016, which we'll get to. But Pink Collars is a really cool concept. We believe it pairs remote customer service reps with home and field service business providers and business owners. So if you're a lawn care, landscape, home service, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, if you do any of those trades, we can act as your customer service rep. We can manage your office, both front and back, and take care of all of your customer care remotely so that you can stay out in the field doing the things that you love to do.
Love it, love it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose my first question is, how did you get involved in this? Because I don't think someone just wakes up and goes, you know what, I'm going to create a back office system to support, plumbers, for example.
Exactly, you're right. Well, in 2008 and 2009 here in the US, as well as the rest of the world, we went through a pretty bad economic downturn.
Hmm.
And so I was in commercial construction and design and used to pick out tile and carpeting and paint for all kinds of big, fabulous buildings, multifamily residential, and then commercial buildings, and found myself laid off. So I ended up scouring Craigslist like all of my other people that I knew to try to find some sort of work,
Hmm.
and happened upon a tree company, a husband and wife arborist team that needed help with their scheduling and office support. So they had purchased a software platform that was not on the cloud. This was back in 2010, and the cloud didn't exist back then. And so they would go to various Starbucks every day and sync all the data that they had changed
Oh,
throughout
I
the
love it.
workday to me in Virginia from Colorado. So that was my first company called My Virtual Page. We only worked on one software platform. And so Pink Collars is kind of a response to other industries and other CRM companies coming to us and saying, we have users that really need your type of service. They want something more than a call center, more than an answering service. They're not quite ready to hire an in-house employee, or maybe they don't want to have an office. And can you help us? And so that's
Mm.
why Pink Collars exists today. It was just a response to make a job that I needed for myself back in 2010. And now here we are 10 years later.
Amazing. What was the thought process then from going from that position of you needing your own job
Mm-hmm.
to building out it more than just you? Because obviously you now have, I guess it was because they're both companies, but the difference is
Mm-hmm.
now is you have a team and that team in place
Yeah.
serves others. So for you, what made you do that? Because I'm guessing you could have also gone down the road, which many people do, and have one or
Mm-hmm.
two clients on your own, and you're doing all
Yep.
that work.
Yep. Well, it was actually my husband who came along and saw this business and said, this is actually a business. He's the one, because I had three clients. Like you said, I was going down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole of just having my own clients, providing my own work for myself and my small family. And it was fine. And he came along and said, what you're really doing is you're like a subcontractor, like in construction, right? You're a subcontractor of the office work. And it's a really cool concept. He had worked in construction and construction materials. And so he saw it very similar to a construction process, just like I sort of did in design. I was building processes and systems for these
Hmm.
business owners where they didn't have them before. So we saw the need. And then he said, this could be a company. You should hire someone. And I was like, this isn't a company. This is just a job, right? This is just a way to keep food on the table.
Totally different
Um,
mindset.
yeah, so it was a totally different mindset. So he saw the vision and really encouraged me to hire someone. So when we were very newly married, we hired Julia from Britain, and she was
Love it.
lovely. And she was our first employee. And from there, we've just continued to grow. So,
So when you brought on Julia, how was that transition for you then? Because you obviously moved from that position of you doing those three clients, managing that,
sure.
to actually moving into that viewership from your perspective of actually no, this is a business we can build upon,
Yeah.
this is a business we can grow. Super
Yeah.
exciting. How did you manage that transition?
Well, it was frightening, of course, and I am a absolute uh, control freak. I will fully admit it, and so I would sit right
The
next
first
to
step
her
is to
and
admit it.
listen.
Well done.
It's true. It's so true, though. All business owners are in their own small way,
Hmm.
in some fashion. So I would sit right next to her at this like 9 foot long desk that was an old dining room table that we had in our office. And I would sit right next to her and I would listen to every single call. And I'd be typing and pretending like I was working,
Oh,
but
I
I
bet
was
she
sort of
loved it.
oh, she thought it was horrible. I'm sure it was horrifying. But we got to a place where she was so good at just being empathetic, understanding what the homeowner needed. And the homeowner doesn't know everything about trees or
Hmm.
landscape. That's why they're calling, right? All they want is somebody to get the service provider to the door in an efficient manner. And
Yeah.
that's what we provided. And just take really good notes so that when the service provider does show up, that they know what they're doing when they get there. It's not just starting from scratch. So she was incredibly good at that and very, very capable and empathetic. And that accent went a long way. We loved it.
Top tip: have an accent. So that's
Yes.
what you're saying. Easy,
Yeah,
easy fix.
it
For
was
you
so
then,
good.
obviously, Julia being that first employee, how quickly did you guys expand? Because, Pink Coolers as it is today, like we spoke about before, was formed in 2016. So talk to me
Yeah.
about the process of how Pink Coolers as it stands today came about.
Well, what we really realized is that being in the technology space, especially in home services, we had a really long runway. We still really do. A lot of home service and field service providers aren't really as integrated with technology as some of the other trades or some of
Hmm.
the other industries that we see out there in the world. So we found that if we could be super supportive of the industries that we served, tree, lawn, landscape, plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, if we could be super aware of what was going on in their industry specifically and talk about it and be supportive, and then similarly be super interested and supportive of all of the CRMs out there, all of these amazing software platforms that need these guys to be customers. If we could connect those two together and just be a voice, a bridge essentially to
Hmm.
connect them, that we would have success. And so that's been really our motto, is how can we introduce technology in a not frightening way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How can we be supportive of the people in the field from a different perspective? I mean, I come at it from construction and logistics, right? And that's really how we see connecting the homeowner to the service provider and using technology somehow to make those two come together. So
I love the
that's
way
what we do.
somehow to make it happen,
Yes,
because I'm sure
somehow. We're
some
going to get
some
them
people
together.
are, some people get it a lot quicker than others. Let's put it that way.
They do.
So I'm assuming that the majority of your team now is remote and probably always has been, but
Mhm.
obviously in recent times, let's put it this way, 2023 a spanner in the works for a lot of people, and
Sure.
a lot of companies have taken their teams remote. For
Yeah.
you as a leader, as someone running their own business, how do you manage that? How do you manage your remote team? How do you make sure that the team that you're building
hmm
corresponds with that culture and that fit of Pink Callers?
Yeah. That's a good question. Well, what we do is we are very invested in our people. We invest in training them and supporting them. And so we have a structure that makes a lot of sense for a remote team. I think a remote individual can sometimes feel isolated or alone. And so we have very consistent team structures throughout every time zone. So we have a team lead that brings in all the new clients and onboards everyone and then supports all of the team members beneath him or her. So it's really important that there's that framework so that
Hmm.
an employee doesn't ever feel like they're on their own and a client doesn't feel like they only have one point of contact with our business. It's important that they have a structure. So if their day-to-day team member maybe needs to be trained on something more, or they're adding a new service to their lineup and they need to understand it better, they go straight to the team lead, and the team lead is in charge of that, integration into the day-to-day work. So that's super important. If you can see behind me, the spinning wheel, we also do something.
It's like you're in a game show set.
It is. It is. It totally is. That is something that we do every single month, and we have a pay for performance program here at Pink Collars. And so if your call logs are over a certain percent, if your customers have given you fantastic reviews, and we review our clients every 2 weeks to make sure that we're keeping on top of what we need to support them by doing, then they get the option to spin the wheel, and they win time off or gift cards or theater tickets or different kinds of bonuses and cash bonuses. And it makes it really fun. I think we often in call center or in customer service environment see people as just, a sea of cubicles and 200 people in this massive office. And we don't want to treat our people that way. Each and every individual that works for us is incredibly special, and they're serving another small business owner. And so we really want to love them up so that they're happy, because if they're happy, they're going to translate that on the phone when they're talking to your customers. So that's really important to us.
What about the challenges then? What about when they're not happy? How do you handle that?
Well, we have, like I said, that pay for performance. We utilize a software platform called Quality Driven Software. It's QDS. You can find it on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Not it's the catchiest of names, let's face it.
Pardon?
It's not the catchiest of software names.
No, well, it's great. No,
but hey, if it does the job, you don't need a catchy name.
Awesome. QDS is perfect for this type of industry, for checking on your employees. And it's really a software platform that helps you as a business owner have your customers review your team, not just your company as a whole, like a Google or something else would do a review. But how do you get more granular and talk about those particular team members? And that really helps. Having access to us constantly, I think, is also very important for our clients. And we have everybody, all of our employees, all of our clients, and all of our clients' entire team on Slack. So we are a massive Slack community, hundreds of users, and that access to not only the guys out in the field behind the equipment, but then the owner of that business and then us. It's massively important to have those layers of people to connect with, so that if there is an issue, you can get it from the field to the person that can make a difference immediately. And that's the difference for
that
what we do.
Communication.
Huge.
Yeah. It always works. I'm really curious to sort of pick your brains as well and get your viewership on this, because I think the virtual assistant world and that kind of virtual working, like I said earlier, has exploded pre-COVID. Obviously, probably in the last 2 years from where I sat, there seems to be a huge push on VAs and that virtual sort of offering. How have you made sure that you've stood out from the crowd? How have you made sure that because it sounds like you've got an amazing setup and you've got that amazing team, but as a business owner, when you're seeing obviously these other companies pop up, how does that make you feel? How do you make sure that you stay on top of your game?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we take the quality of our service very, very seriously. We do not put money over people or process over people. It is super important for us that our team members have a balanced life. I was telling you before we went online, everybody works virtually for us remotely. And so I very rarely get to see my team in person. And we had an occasion where a couple of the team members wanted to get together, and it was only going to be about 30 minutes away. So I jumped in the car with my husband and the kids. We all jumped in and went to go see everybody. And it was so beautiful to listen to the team members talk about previous positions that they'd had in a similar industry, whether it was support professional or admin or VA, where, the owner of the business called them at 8:00 on a Friday, or called them on the weekends, or put tasks on their communication platform on all day and night, constantly. No boundaries, like zippy. And I'm telling you, treating people well in this position does nothing but benefit all of us. So
Hmm.
it's super important to me that we never lose sight of that. And so that's one of the things that differentiates us. And then the fact that I try to be very tech aware, it's very important to me to always be seeing what's coming up
Mm.
technologically, because it can empower our team to be even more powerful in the seat. So if we add Slack and we add Trello and we add different layers of things to our lineup that's part of our service, we will always win in the end because we're giving such a high quality level of service to our clients and to the customers that they're trying to get in front of.
Yeah.
So those two things, I think, happy people and being tech aware. I like those
Yeah.
two.
Let's talk about the boundary side though, because I think
Mm,
that's something that's really interesting from where I sit, because I've seen that from speaking to other assistants and this kind of thing. And
sure.
why do you think so many business owners get that bit wrong? Because for some reason, the moment it's virtual, people think that those boundaries are a little bit more grey. It's not like someone sat next to you
Yeah.
in the office. Why do you think that
Yeah.
is?
Well, I don't think they've set up the structure to have it be representative of what an in-house experience would be. So our structure is we work 8 to 5 in every single time zone. I live in the East Coast, and so does Doug, my husband and partner. So we are available 8 to 5 Eastern. If you're on the West Coast and you need to get to anybody in management, you can get us on Slack. It's not a problem. But at 8 p.m. Eastern, all Slack notifications go off for the entire
Hmm.
company. So it doesn't matter if it's me or if it's a client or an employee, Slack notifications go off. Of course, people can reach us on our cell phones. Of course, that's not a problem if there's a true emergency. But my team absolutely loves the fact that they don't get pinged on things all night. And business owners do have ideas late at night. We do. I do. I'm totally guilty
It's
of it.
part
A
of our
hundred
quirk
percent.
of being an entrepreneur, I
It
think.
is. I mean, I'll wake up at 4 in the morning and come up with something. And the beautiful thing about having good boundaries or Slack and communication, sort of boundaries, is that I can put all those things in Slack if I want to, but no one's going to get notified until 8 a.m. So I'm
Hmm.
not going to be bothering my team. So I use technology to help create the boundaries for me, which I think is very
Yeah.
beneficial for us. So I do that. But then I also just remember what it was like to create this job for the person that I was and what I needed. So I wouldn't have wanted people bothering me at night or on the weekends. And so I try to treat people the exact same way that I wanted to be treated.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the third and most important thing is I always encourage our clients to utilize the video feature in Slack and invite our team members to be part of your team meetings. If you have a weekly lineup or a daily stand up with the guys in the trucks and the equipment and all the stuff, let us be part of that. At least on somebody's phone, like let us participate and get to know you, because we're going to care so much more
Hmm.
if we know who you are and what you're fighting for.
Yeah. I think
So,
those three amazing points, and again, it really reflects on how you've managed to build a great team and obviously a great business.
mhm.
So
Thank
for
you.
you, Michelle, what's next for Pink Callers? Like you said, you're getting ideas at 4 a.m, so I suspect you've got a few things up your sleeve.
Oh, well, we started in the green industry, like I said, tree, lawn, and landscape. Love those guys. We have moved into cleaning. So, all types of cleaning, whether it's residential home cleaning, exterior home cleaning, soft wash, power wash, roof wash, say that 3 times fast, and gutter cleaning. We love those guys. All those industries have been and are amazing and are a huge part of our company. We really want to see how we can enter into more HVAC and year-round
Hmm.
businesses, because I think that's really an interesting place for us to be. There are companies out there, but most of them are answering services. So I don't see one that are kind of taking this twist on it.
Yeah.
Again, what we really do is align one individual on our team with either one or two businesses based on the volume that they do
Hmm.
annually. So that's a
Much more
very
like a
different.
virtual employee.
Exactly. So it's almost like, yeah, like a virtual office manager. So it's a different concept. And we really want to introduce it into some of these other industries, because whether you like it or not, the pain points are the very same, right? You're just
Hmm.
trying to get to the door. of the homeowner that you're attempting to serve. So I think it's going to be really fun. My husband and I both love real estate too. So personally, I love to dabble in real estate. There's still that sort of thing back behind here
Flipping
somewhere.
houses.
Yeah, that I love. So I don't know where that's going to fall into place, but I'm constantly, if you were to ask what I do at 4 in the morning more than anything, it's get on Zillow and look at houses. So,
I'm the
so
exact same. Have no
are
fear.
you?
I'm not
So
sure why.
fun.
I'm not sure why property for people like us entrepreneurs is just such a shiny object,
I don't know what it
and
is. I'm
we
thrilled
view
by
it
it.
in such a different way, though, don't we? We don't view it
Yeah.
as in like, hey, that could be nice for like our family. We view it in like, oh, I'm gonna rip out that kitchen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
rip out that bathroom. I can
True.
extend the back. We'd redo the
Yeah.
driveway, and we're gonna add a lot of value to it.
Yeah. It's
But
all the
hey,
possibilities. And
it's all
I
about
think
solutions.
it is all about solutions. And it's fun. The house that we live in now has a little Airbnb in the basement. We have a little apartment. So we've tried it here and lived it.
Tested it.
And so now we're like, oh, we think we like this. This might be fun. So
You've got the bug.
there's that. There's that. And I think the most important thing that I want to continue doing is supporting the industries that we serve, right? All those folks out in the field and the software platforms that they need to be on to really help build the business of tomorrow for them, to make them more efficient and it easier for them to communicate with their customers, and just kind of be that, like I said, that bridge between the two. So
Yeah,
that's what's on deck for us. Just keep doing what
amazing.
we're doing.
I love it. And
Yeah,
actually I think that a business like yours is just going to continue to thrive, and I think the service you offer, more and more people are going to want it, more and more how businesses are going to be changing slightly in terms of how
yeah,
people run it.
yeah,
Your offering fits so nicely into that. So I
yeah.
have zero doubt that Pink Callers is going to grow and grow and grow, and I suspect there may be some pink Airbnbs out there very soon as well.
You never know. You never know.
Michelle, listen, one of my final questions then is, how can people find out more about you? How can people find out more about Pink Callers?
Well, they can visit our website. They can check out all of the platforms that we support, lots of different CRMs that can help run your business. If you're a home service or field service company that's feeling the burn of either an underperforming answering service or call center, and you really want more for your customers' interaction with your company, we can absolutely be that solution. My husband, Doug, does all the sales. And so we ask you to fill out our contact form. And then from there, you kind of get invited to giving us more information about your business. We really want to make sure you're the right fit for our company, and we're a right fit for yours. So we
Mm,
do a lot of understanding of what you do and who you are and what you serve, or what services you provide, so that we understand who to match you with on our team. And that's another part of this that I think is something that nobody else does, is that we really try to match the personalities of the people that work with us um, to the team members that we have in house, because that's a really fun dynamic and people become very integrated into that business.
yeah.
So that's a cool part too.
I guess that comes back to that virtual employee, isn't it? If
Yeah.
you're having someone that was going to be in your office next to you, you're
Yeah.
gonna make the effort to
Yeah.
discover and find out, and vice versa. That person who's going to be working with them wants to find out more about the business. So I really
Yeah.
like that approach, and again, no
Yeah.
wonder that it's working really well. Michelle, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, and thank you so much
Thanks.
for sharing about Pink Callers.
Love it. Thanks so much, Stephen. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone else for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365.